Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball from the banks of the Mississippi. A warm August evening, the Cardinals hosting the San Diego Padres, game one of a 7-game homestand. And as we look around baseball, the hottest teams since the All-Star break, the Kansas City Royals at 18-8 now lead the Central in the American League. The Orioles, very tough, but look at the San Diego Padres at 16-8. They make that list as well. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton along with Al Roboski. And Al, the last time we saw the Padres, they weren't playing very well, but this is a different team now.
Well, they're a very good ball club because they have great pitching. Maybe don't score a lot of runs, but they don't need to with their great pitching. And the Cardinals know firsthand because the Cardinals were beaten 2 out of 3 on the West Coast.
Padres don't play as well on the road. The Cardinals hoping for that here tonight. We'll take a look at our starting pitchers when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest.
Cardinals avoided a sweep behind one of their new faces, Justin Masterson, who was terrific, allowing just 3 hits in 7 innings. Trevor Rosenthal finished it off. The Cardinals 2-4 on the road trip. Tonight, the Redbirds host the red-hot San Diego Padres. They've won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10. One of the other new Cardinal faces is John Lackey. He got roughed up in Baltimore. He'll try to get back to his winning ways here tonight. Cardinals and Padres coming up next. Bud Light line, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. It's a beautiful day in St. Louis, unseasonably cool for the month of August. A big crowd on hand. First game of the homestand. And we'll take a look at the lineup for the San Diego Padres, who've won 8 out of 10. They'll lead off with the veteran Will Venable. He'll be in center field. Tommy Medica bats second. Seth Smith is the left fielder. He's been the hottest Padre. Jerko Grandal and Liriano in the middle. And Marista Nelson. And the pitcher is left-hander Eric Stoltz. And the Padres have been doing so many things well. The Cardinals will try to cool them off here tonight behind Archaea starter John Lackey.
Well, John Lackey's 3rd start in the National League this year. He's 1-1, one good one and one bad one. Hopefully he will be like Masterson was last night and find his winning ways. He's pitched well against National League clubs in the past and this year too, and he's 1-1 lifetime against the Padres.
Mike Matheny's club, a frustrating road trip. They did manage to avoid the sweep twice. First in Baltimore after running into one of the best lineups that we've seen all season long. A lot of home runs in Baltimore at Camden Yards, and then picking up a win the last game against the Marlins. And our first pitch is a swing and a miss on a good fastball from John Lackey.
And that is a real key, isn't it, Ricky? When he gets ahead in the count, he really dominates hitters. When they're ahead, they have fun hitting.
His splits are tremendous in that regard. In fact, his splits are bigger than anybody in baseball. The batting average versus a 0-1 count and a 1-0 count. Just 2-0-2 if he gets ahead. And he's ahead here.
And it's good to see his head against Venable, because Venable is 1 for 2 with a home run against him. So one of those situations, come out here. It's so important to dominate the first batter, carry it on through the first inning.
0-2 is fouled off.
Mentioned that the Padres are one of the hottest teams in the second half. They've got the best record in the National League, but they're a little different team on the road.
Swing and a miss as he swings at a curveball in the dirt. And Tony Cruz throws out Venable, and that's how we get started here in St. Louis for game one of this homestand. We'll check out the Cardinals defense behind Lackey. And our Dobbs Cardinal defense has Holiday, Borges, and Shane Robinson in the outfield tonight. Johnny Peralta and Mark Ellis up the middle. Matt Adams playing first base. Matt Carpenter at third. Tony Cruz back behind the plate catching John Lackey. And it's ball one to Medica. Bud Black in his 8th year managing the Padres, and at 57, I'm going to say he's one of the smartest baseball guys I know. He's done a nice job with his team.
And he didn't go to Virginia. That's quite a statement.
Well, he spent 7 years with the Angels as a pitching coach, and just talking baseball with him, you just know he has a great calm demeanor. And the team was off to such a poor start, and pretty amazing how they've turned it around. Hard hit right center. On the move is Borges. Long way to go. Shane Robinson runs it down in deep right center field. How about that play?
Shane Robinson was noted as one of the minor league best outfielders, and he showed it there. Looked like he kind of gave way, thinking Borges might get it in the left or the right field gap. But then he kind of alters his motion a little bit and then goes right at catching it midway on the track, reaches up and has a step to prepare himself before he hits the wall. Very, very nice play.
Both guys going hard on that. Love to see it. Shane Robinson getting a rare start in right. And Al, I don't know if you happen to see the collision that Byron Buxton had, the phenom player for the Twins. He ran into his center fielder yesterday. Ground ball to right. Made me think of Shane Robinson. Booted by Adams, but he made the play. We'll have more on that when we come back. Good start for Shane Robinson, John Lackey, and the Cardinals. No score. Off bottom of the first inning. He's been a table setter all season long. And here's the rest of the Cardinals lineup behind Matt. Peter Borges in that second spot. He'll play center field. Matt Holliday in left, followed by Matt Adams, the Cardinals' first baseman. Peralta, Ellis, and Robinson come next, and Tony Cruz in that 8th spot in front of the Cardinal pitcher, John Lackey.
Eric Stoltz will be the pitcher. You see the 13 losses. That's tops in the National League in the same amount he lost a year ago. But the bad news is he's pitching much better, and he won his last time out against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And he is 1-9 on the year on the road. So they say he's got his backdoor slider has become a bigger pitch for him. That'd be against the right-handed batters. And he'll throw a changeup at any time in the count. Very few left-handed batters in Mike Matheny's lineup, as lefties have a tough time hitting against him in the past.
And at the corners for Carpenter, line drive to right. Will it carry to the right fielder, Liriano? It does. Nice play, taking it off the turf for out number 1. Hard hit by Carpenter. The defense behind Stultz here tonight, brought to you by Dobbs. Will Venable in center field. He's flanked by Seth Smith and Liriano, we just saw. And Marista and Jerko up the middle. Tommy Medica getting the start at first base with Chris Nelson at third. Yasmani Grandal is the catcher and Stultz the pitcher, as the Padres are dealing with some injuries that we'll get into. And that pitch is low to Peter Borges. Yonder Alonso expected to go on the DL today. It's going to be a game time decision, and Everett Cabrera already on the DL. And they had been the hottest hitters on this team in the month of August.
Well, they did put Alonso on the DL and called up infielder Jace Peterson from AAA. That'd be his 4th time playing for Bud Black this season. Jace Peterson.
So no Alonso, no Cabrera, no Carlos Quentin, no Andrew Kashner, one of their solid pitchers.
Well, they're pitchers of their rotation. You know, Stultz has the highest ERA.
Change up, hit on the ground to third. Nelson has to hurry to get Borges for out number 2. Stultz not overpowering with the fastball. We've seen that already. He throws at about 88 miles an hour, throws it about 50% of the time. But that curveball you talked about and the slider, very effective for him. And his changeup he throws often too, and he got an out with it there.
You really talk about a journeyman, and Matt Holliday has seen him probably the most. He's 3 for 8 with a home run. Stultz started with the Dodgers, kind of couldn't latch on there for several years, then went to Japan.
Fly ball right center. And Liriano puts it away. 3 up, 3 down for the Cardinals. We played 1, looking for our first hit. With Al Hrabosky, and we have Jim Hayes with us as well here for the second inning. And Jim, I know you're going to give us an injury update on one of the most important Cardinals of all. That's Yadier Molina.
Yes, still a long, long way to go, but Yadier's thumb is showing major progress. Yadier is now wearing just a brace, and there he was today catching a bullpen. John Mozeliak telling me Yadier is yet to pick up a bat and that the medical staff doesn't want Yadier to push it too hard. But Mozeliak says the encouraging thing is that Molina is doing better and he wants to do more. Yadier told me the thumb feels better and he's just working hard as he can to get back. Rick, he wants to push it.
Yeah, and the Cardinals certainly need him back, and he means so much to this team. And kind of another big name that we've been missing is Michael Wacha. What do you know about him, Jim?
Slow and steady progress. Wacha expanded his throwing program, surpassing 150 feet on flat ground. Mozeliak says Wacha tells him shoulder feels great. Mozeliak says he wouldn't be surprised if Wacha is cleared to throw off the mound in the near future. Mozeliak's still optimistic that Wacha will contribute to the Cards this season, even possibly as a starter, if that's what the Cards need is, Ricky.
1-2 on Jedd Gyorko leads things off here in the second inning. And Jim, before you go, I'd like to also ask about the Cardinal reliever Jason Motte. What do you know about him?
Yeah, he's still bothered by a lower back issue. Motte told me he had hoped to be ready to go out on a rehab assignment by now, but there's still some lower back pain. He says they'll wait for that to calm down before they figure out the next step for him, Rick.
That's great, Jim. Thanks for the update and really appreciate that. Look forward to hearing you on the post game as well. And the count now 2-2 on Gyorko. Hard hit to center field. In comes Borges, and he makes the play. And that brings us to our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, the keys today is a little bit, let's reverse the trend. The Cardinals, the first game of a series on the year, they're 18-21. But their 6 of their last 8 series, they've lost the first game, including both Baltimore and Miami. And Lackey stay on course. He's 2-0 with a 1.35 ERA against National League clubs this season. And we know how well he's pitched against National League clubs in the postseason also.
We sure do.
Unfortunately.
Painfully.
He's
closed
out 2 World Series. He was the winning pitcher in the final game of the the Angels World Championship. And then last year, he ended the Cardinals' dream season, winning Game 6 against the Redbirds for Boston.
2-hopper to the second baseman Ellis for out number 2.
You can see the first game, we don't score a lot of runs. The rest of the series, it gets a little better. The team ERA is the same way. We don't pitch as well. It gets better at the rest of the season, but there's no reason why the Cardinals shouldn't dominate, particularly when they're playing at home. They have such a great environment, great place to play, packed house every night, just wonderful fans. Of course, that works well to the visiting team also. They love this environment. Cardinal fans have the reputation that, of course, they want to see the Cardinals win, but they can appreciate the great athleticism of the visiting teams.
And I think your point, too, is when a visitor comes in here and there's a lot of energy at the park, it just tends to just kind of amp them up a little bit. They get excited about the game. Of course, they're big leaguers. They're going to be excited every night, but certainly a good atmosphere, a great atmosphere at Busch Stadium. Reimer Liriano, a rookie, pops this one up. Just hit his first major league home run yesterday, but not there. 6 up, 6 down for Lackey.
or not, but we're absolutely checking it day in and day out. And the interesting thing this year is it just hasn't been a lot of players out there, and I think part of it is teams are involved, still competing, and there's so many teams that are competing for wild card spots that the volume of players just isn't as high. But that may change over the next couple of weeks, so we definitely want to keep an eye out for that.
That's the Cardinal general manager John Mozeliak on our pregame show, talking about the landscape of potential waiver pickups. And there's a base hit to right from Matt Adams, our first hit of the night. And Mozeliak was telling us in pregame, as well as the season ticket holders before the game, that it's certainly possible that the bench could be strengthened in the next couple of weeks, and he's got his crew looking at players. We'll take one more look at that swing by Matt Adams.
Well, Matt Adams got the game-winning hit yesterday and said even though he only had one hit of the game, he felt like he was getting the stroke back. So good to see him follow up with a base hit here on his first at bat off a tough left-hander.
Hit another ball hard yesterday, which I think goes into that.
It's funny, he fouled the ball straight back, and that's what kind of clued him in that he was getting close.
So much of it about timing.
And mentally, how you just perceive things.
Johnny Peralta leads the club with 15 home runs. That ball in the dirt. The changeup at 78 from Stultz. Peralta with 49 RBIs.
Stultz is from Plymouth, Indiana.
You called him a survivor earlier, and he really is. He's been around a long time. For 34 years of age, to only have 3 years in the big leagues. That ball's hit hard and deep left center field. Back goes Smith to the wall, and it's out of here. 2-run home run, Johnny Peralta. 2-0 St. Louis.
Johnny Peralta with that home run is now tied for the franchise high in home runs by a shortstop. He tied Renteria and also Darryl Spencer. So I think that's one of those records that is going to be in jeopardy this year. And Johnny's first year with the ball club has really paid dividends. Surprising the power he's shown.
That ball carried very well to left center field here. We also saw a ball carry well to right center. A little bit different than the last homestand. We thought balls were just kind of dying in the outfield.
Well, like you said, it's unusually, unseasonably cool, but it is, mid-80s. But this is St. Louis, and you're used to 100-degree weather at this time. So the Padres came in here, and they are just gushing with expecting the 100-plus degree weather, and find this great weather. They're thrilled.
Tried to pound Mark Ellis in. Count even now at 2-2. Ellis getting the start here at second base. We saw him start at first base on the road trip, spelling Matt Adams. Changeup misses. Cardinals without Alan Craig have had to find kind of a plan B if you ever want some rest for Matt Adams. And Mark Ellis got a shot there. Tony Cruz could play first base. And a fly ball to right, and Liriano has been busy. Let's take one more look at Johnny Peralta's sweet swing.
Good connection right there. His balance was good. Timed that off-speed pitch and sends it, 2-3 rows deep.
414 feet. A little bit shy of the home run we saw from Giancarlo Stanton.
But you know what? This one was better. It was a 2-run shot. His was only a solo shot. Come on, Ricky, you're a pitcher.
I'm with you. I agree. It was still pretty amazing to see that home run. I'm sorry.
Unless it's the one that Daly gave up to Strawberry. Then we could keep on talking about it.
That may have been the longest home run I've ever seen.
How about the one at the old ballpark that Mark McGuire hit off Livan Hernandez that went dead center field on the third deck?
Oh, yeah.
Up on the Post-Dispatch sign.
Ground ball up the middle. Base hit, Shane Robinson. That breaks an 0 for 6 for Shane. And he finds a hole. It's now time for you to tweet your favorite photo using STL Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. And as always, it's brought to you by AT&T. And here's our favorite song, Tony Cruz. Well, we only got a couple of notes of it, but you know what it is if you've watched Wolf of Wall Street. And it's strike one to Cruz.
You got to sing the words to it, Ricky.
It's all about the feelings. It's deep now. Tony Cruz 0 for his last 12. He did throw out the aforementioned Giancarlo Stanton stealing. Only person that's done that all season long. There's a ground ball to short. Could be 2. The second for 1. And Robinson makes him throw the ball away. Cruz is headed to second. And he's going to be in there safely. Shane Robinson got down there in a hurry and took out the second baseman, Jed Jerko.
Now that is really a trend for all Cardinal players, that they understand run hard, play hard, try and disrupt this throw from whoever, the shortstop or second baseman. And Colton Wong did it in Miami. Here you see Robinson do it here. It forces Jerko to make a wide throw. It's an error, his 8th of the year, and the 74th for San Diego.
And the guys that are good at that are the guys that run well, because they can get there quickly enough to be a distraction.
And also the Cardinals get a benefit of the pitcher coming up. He doesn't lead off next inning.
Another fly ball to Liriano. But Johnny Peralta gets the Cardinals on the scoreboard. A 2-run shot. His 16th of the season. RBIs 50 and 51. It's early, but it's 2-0 St. Louis. Frozen drink for just 50 cents the next day at On the Run. So don't just root for the Cardinal wins, root for 6 runs all season long and keep the savings going with a 6 is a serious number ticket promotion during the Red Series. That's August 18th through the 20th. Get your $6 tickets at cardinals.com/6. Johnny Peralta has given the Cardinals the lead and runs very important early in a game between the Padres and the Cardinals, two teams that do not score a lot of runs. And John Lackey has the early lead and goes to work here in the top of the third, and it's strike one to Alexi Amarista, 24-year-old shortstop from Venezuela.
Not only do they not score many runs, neither one of them hit many home runs.
Hard hit, pulled down the line, it's fair. And it bounces off the wall, and the umpire says safe. No interference, and Robinson gets it in. A stand-up double for Amarista. And that's hit number 1 for San Diego.
It's his second triple of the year. A double. I wrote down double, but said triple.
We're going to make him go back to second.
It's his 10th double.
He had some very good at-bats against the Cardinals in San Diego when the Padres took 2 out of 3 there. And it's strike 1 from Lackey. We've talked about how important that is. This time to Chris Nelson, hitting .259.
Especially when you've given up a leadoff double.
We talked about the injuries to the Padres, but there's some players short too. They've made some deals during the season. They no longer have Houston Street as their closer. They traded Chase Headley away.
You know, it's amazing though. You see how he's throwing strikes, just 4 balls out of 24 pitches thrown, but their bullpen hasn't missed a beat with Houston Street going on.
Agreed.
They had the best bullpen statistically in the National League. And Houston Street was a very, very capable closer that they traded at the deadline.
And as good as their bullpen has been, another reason to be thankful for the early lead.
True. Once they can shorten the game.
They sure can.
You mentioned Chase Headley. You know, Chase was kind of crowned their team leader.
The 0-2, fouled back.
And he was a team leader, and he's a good guy, good kid. And a couple of years ago, he led the National League in RBIs, but he really couldn't fit that bill. And they say a lot of the Padres players were always looking to him, you know, for leadership, and he really wasn't that leader. Once they traded him away, then the guys their personality started coming out. They started taking more chances. They started becoming the players they wanted to be. And all of a sudden, this team started winning. Now, nobody is saying anything bad about Chase, but it's just one of those situations where, not by design, but it kind of kept the personality down, and now they're expressing themselves and they're winning ball games.
That's that chemistry thing, the personality thing we talk about. And sometimes it's hard to figure how one team will have it and one team will not.
In some ways, I think, you know, John Mozeliak thought that A.J. Pierzynski would come in here and change the chemistry of this ball club. You know, some people think he's a problem on a ball club.
2-2 in the dirt. He had a 0-2. Now it's 3-2.
And I found him to be very accommodating. He's been great to us. He's come and recognized, you know, that he's in a good situation here. But John Rooney pointed something out to me on the last road trip, that he said that, you know, a lot of those clubs that Pierzynski was on and he was painted as the bad guy were losing ball clubs. And he's the ones trying to fight to win, trying to get guys to do things to win and get that fiery attitude. And I think that's something what they brought in Lackey for. Because here's a guy that's a fierce competitor. Here's a guy that knows how to close out World Series. Well, those guys know how to win, and maybe changing the chemistry and the personality of the Cardinals a little bit will help them out if they pitch well and play well.
3-2 pitch from Lackey, another foul. Mike Matheny described it this way to us on the road, and I thought it was a funny way to say it. He said, John Lackey is a guy that does it by how he works and what he does on the field and how he competes. Justin Masterson is integrating with the team immediately and connecting with everybody in an amazing way. And when it comes to AJ, he said, well, you just always know where he is. You can just always hear him. In fact, that's what he said.
And yeah, he'll come up with some great comments and different things. But, you know, when a guy starts rah-rah and, you know, hey, we got a lead, like you did with the base hit by Adams in yesterday's ball game, there's nothing wrong with that. And Justin Masterson Boy, if he can pitch like he did yesterday, and you could tell he's a good student because working with Wainwright, the other starters, and the two pitching coaches, Lilly and.
There goes the runner. 3-2's bounced foul again.
They found a little mechanical flaw. Blaine Ilsley is the bullpen coach. You know, they gave him a game plan and worked with his mechanics a little bit. Collapsed, you know, he's 6'6", and then he was collapsing on that back leg. Well, that brings him down to like 5'10". Hard to get on top of a ball when you have those bad mechanics. He stayed up tall and stayed on top of the ball and had a great 7 shutout innings yesterday.
And a good at bat going on here for Chris Nelson as he has spoiled some pitches from Lackey. Spoiled a couple of 0-2 pitches, has worked at the 3-2, spoiled a couple of more, already 11 pitch at bat. He's trying to move the runner over. In fact, Lackey needs to pay attention to Amarista, who has 9 stolen bases, and he did take off a couple of pitches ago. Trying to get that walking lead. The 3-2 fouled off again. You mentioned Masterson as a student. If you'd have told me that he was going to have that kind of game and learn that quickly from what he did in Baltimore and what he did in Florida, I'm not sure I'd have believed it.
I'd be owning your house.
Yes, you would.
Thanks. I expect the deed tomorrow.
It's in the mail.
That had to excite not only himself, but everybody in the ballpark.
Call third strike inside corner. Lackey did not give in, and he finally gets his man. Tough at bat, but Lackey wins that battle. So key to do that in front of the pitcher, too.
Yeah, they got the pitch count up to 35, but you're right. If you don't get that strikeout and nobody out, you've got 2 runners on. Pitcher moves them over, and they're tie the game with 1 hit.
Ground ball to short, backhanded by Peralta, and they have got the runner between second and third. Carpenter to Ellis, back to Peralta, and they're calling him out for going out of the baseline. Stoltz able to get to second base because the Cardinals had about 2 too many throws in that rundown.
Exactly right. Bud Black's going to come out and argue, but they're going to say he went out of the baseline, and you lose that argument right away. But Johnny Peralta gets to this ball, shows his range going towards the outfield. The only play he has is the one in front of him, and right there Carpenter faked one, but he was too far. Ellis did not close the gap, and there you see him go completely out of the strikes or the base path. Yeah, you can't go that far, and the umpire sees it.
Might have been out anyway on the flip to Tony Cruz, but a moot point. That's our third base umpire, James Hoy.
And see, even pitchers can get themselves in scoring position if a guy stays in the rundown that long.
Right. Well, you're exactly right about not shortening the distance. I mean, you really need to do that in 1 throw, 2 throws max. So in scoring position for Venable, who grounds this one, and it's knocked down by Adams. He flips to Lackey. What a play. I think we just saw another defensive run saved by the big Cardinal first baseman. He has been doing this all year. If that's not a run saved, I don't know what is. Adams to Lackey. 2-0 St. Louis. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. By the St. Louis Science Center, where we specialize in making science fun. And right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. Two 2-0 St. Louis. Carpenter, Borges, and Holiday due up for the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta has given St. Louis the early lead. And the fans having a nice day at the ballpark so far. Carpenter lined out his first plate appearance. And this is a Cardinal team, Al, you mentioned earlier, like San Diego, does not hit a lot of home runs. That was the Cardinals' 80th. The Padres have 86 as a team, so neither team hits a lot.
They're 28th in baseball in home runs. The Cardinals are 29th, and the surprising Royals are the fewest in Major League Baseball, but they score runs in a lot of different ways.
And they are playing so well, aren't they?
Won again today. So did Milwaukee. They beat Chicago 6-2.
Kansas City beat Oakland. Strike on the outside corner to Carpenter. Cardinals with just two left-handers in the lineup against Stultz. One of them is Matt Carpenter. The other, the cleanup hitter, Matt Adams. 2-1. Slider, nice play by the first baseman Medica. He'll take it himself. There's a look at the Cardinal starter Shelby Miller with a young Cardinal fan here before the game.
That's his daughter, I think. Maybe not. Maybe one of his friends. His wife Amy right there, I believe, in the blacktop. They don't have a baby yet. That's right.
He looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he's
held the back of the head. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe soon.
Well, they just got married last fall.
1-1 the count to Peter Borges, who bounced out in the first. Borges has had a much better second half, Al, I would say, with the bat than he did in the first half. Much better at bats.
He had a good July.
He did.
And of course his playing time has been diminished. But how about the big insurance home run, 3-run home run he hit on Sunday in the 9th inning to give a nice cushion for the Cardinal victory at Baltimore.
1-2 is low.
Defense has gotten better as the season has gone along and feel more comfortable with his new team, but
his swing seems a little shorter to me. Like he's just driving the ball to right field. He's staying back more. And I think what we saw early in the season was a lot of movement with his lower half, too. His feet were all over the place.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a little more solid. But he waves at that change up. And a strikeout for Stultz. The Cardinals induct Marty Marion, Mike Shannon, Willie McGee, and Jim Edmonds into their Hall of Fame this weekend. Stan McNeil profiles this class on FoxSportsMidwest.com, and on Sunday after the game, we'll bring you exclusive coverage in Cardinals Legends 2014 Hall of Fame induction.
there's Stan McNeil right there, busy writing. Does a nice job, and of course that ceremony you can attend. I believe it starts at 10:30 over at the Ballpark Village, Fox Sports Live, and I think it's $18 for a ticket. And if you can't make that, or even if you do and want to see a replay of it, it'll be on Sunday after the game, right here on Fox. And congratulations to that first class.
Oh, absolutely, and so exciting. And you know, when we were in Baltimore, they've had their Hall of Fame going on for, what, 20 years, I think, and they had many of those players come back, and I just think this is something that's maybe long overdue, and excited about where that may go 20, 30 years from now for Cardinal fans. Ground ball to the third baseman. Nelson throws out Matt Holliday, so a quick inning for Stultz. On to the fourth. Catch all of the second half action on MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Cardinals.com for details. 2-0 St. Louis. John Lackey, 3 solid innings so far. And he will face 2, 3, and 4 for the Padres, and it's strike 1 to Tommy Medica. Medica has been one of the primary pinch hitters for the Padres.
Probably their hottest bat in their lineup.
344 August. And he's one of the young players that this team has too, Al. He's just 25 years of age, and Jerko's 25, Grandal's 25, Liriano, their new right fielder, is just 22. One from Lackey. Slider misses.
Now they find themselves now with their little run. They've won 5 straight games and 8-2 in their last 10. They find themselves in 3rd place. 14 and a half games back, but that's nice progress for where they were early in the season.
Hit to the left side. Peralta on the backhand. He better hurry, and he does. Close play. Medica runs well, and he almost beat that out.
Padres as a team only batting .225. 10 and a half games out instead of 14. Little breaking ball right there. So he'll lose this single right there in the batting box because he had the long swing and it took him a long time to recover and start running to first base. If he would have had that more on the inside part of the plate or something, he could have gotten a faster start out of the batter's box and would have been safe.
Seth Smith is the left fielder for San Diego, and he has been their top producer this season. He has 24 doubles to lead the team. He's in the 3rd spot. Bounced out his first plate appearance. Leads the team in runs scored, and his average at .291 is very different than most of his teammates' average.
With Oakland last year. He was with Colorado before that, and he was now 2 for 6 with a double and triple against Lackey.
Laces this one to left field, and it's fair.
Double. Ground rule double.
And it's going to be a ground rule double as it either bounced out or a fan touched it beyond where we can see here in our broadcast booth.
Yeah, it bounced up, you know, it's kind of sliced towards the stands. It bounced up into it and hit a fan and then came back on the playing field. Get a look at it right here. See how that ball coming off the bat of a left, well, he's a right-hander, but just fair, and then bounces into the stands and back onto the playing field.
So a ground rule double for Smith brings in Jed Jerko. Line drive, and Peralta knocks it down. Can't handle it, makes the throw, and he got him. Wow. He stayed with that one well, didn't he?
Sure did, and you wonder if Jerko was running hard all the way out of the batter's box. He may have slowed down when he saw that line drive, and the jump initially looked like Peralta was going to catch it. Good running by Seth Smith to get back there and not get doubled up, but it didn't stay in the glove. Watch the runner here. See if he slows down just barely, and you can understand that, but I think he still might have been thrown out.
So a good recovery by Peralta. What looked like it could have been a base hit off the bat of Jerko turns into a 6-3, and the runner Smith still at second base.
And Jerko hitting against the Cardinals, you would think it would be a hit.
Yeah.
He's only batting 199 coming in, but nearly 400 against St. Louis the last 2 years.
Yasmani Grandal. Cardinals didn't see much of him in San Diego. Their other catcher is Rene Rivera. Grandal has been struggling all season. He's at 204.
Switch hitter.
The 1-1. And a late time called by and granted by Bob Davidson. Asked for by Grandal and granted by Bob Davidson, the veteran umpire behind home tonight.
We've noticed this just the first couple games, more so in game one started by Lackey coming over from the American League. Does he throw too many strikes? Hitter's got to go up there anticipating a strike because he's always near that strike zone. Sometimes you can throw too many.
Check swing.
I'd rather throw too many than not enough, though.
It's working so far tonight, to be sure. Allowed just 2 Padres hits. 2 strikeouts, no walks for Lackey.
Usually keeps your defense on their toes, and the Cardinals have played good defense in this game.
Fairly shallow in center is Borges. Big breaker is a strike. Hit deeper in right and center field. And maybe Tony Cruz crossed up. He goes out to the mound. Maybe he wasn't looking for this pitch, but it was perfectly placed.
Were they getting signs from the runner at second, trying to translate something? Just many different things, but get together and figure out what you want to do with the runner at second.
There's the outfield we talked about. Borges has good speed, so he's shallow in center. And on the fists with the slider, and it's spoiled by Grandal. Another Padre, by the way, Al, not in the lineup. We saw him in San Diego. In fact, he had a nice series there. Yangervis Solarte, the switch hitting third baseman, and he's dealing with an oblique issue. Not on the disabled list yet, but he may be soon. 2-2 the count. Smith the runner. Lackey the pitcher.
Solarte, the switch hitter. He's hitting well right-handed. He's got 78 at bats, 28 right-handed, batting .393. 50 bats left-handed, batting .220.
More conversation. Think he'd like to be in that conversation?
I think so. Good to see Yachty. He's been getting his treatments, and Mike Matheny, it's more last homestand, wanted him to spend more time at home, but now you can see his team back here. He wants to be with his teammates.
First walk of the night for John Lackey. Grandal has not hit very well lately, just 190 in the month of August, and almost looked like they were pitching around him a little bit.
It did. And sometimes, you're bringing up a young kid. Liriano, they've already talking about how far he can hit a ball. But you have to make contact, don't you?
Big swing and a miss there. Not really a home run hitter in the minor leagues. Never had more than 12 until this season, where he had 16 in AAA. So really his first season with power. And he's been a .270 minor league hitter, but they like what they see from Reimer Liriano.
It might have been part of the fact he missed last year with Tommy John surgery. So
right.
Maybe got that elbow corrected. And maybe now he's got his power source back.
The 1-1. Beautiful slider there from Lackey. And he's ahead in the count, 1-2.
See Liriano wearing the elbow pad on the left elbow, but it was the right elbow that he had surgery on. I don't really have to protect that back elbow, though.
Talking about the home run power and potential of Reimer Liriano. Here he is yesterday.
It's his fourth game in the big leagues. He was 2 for 9. And with this bomb there on this Western Metal building out in left field, part of the ballpark.
427 feet. First home run of his career. 1-2 is just a bit low, and Lackey wanted that one. You can tell by his reaction that he believes that was a strike. Let's see if he was right.
Umpires will tell you that's in that gray area where it could go either way. Of course, the pitcher always sees it as a strike, and the hitter always sees it should be a ball. The pitcher's trying to make that pitch, too.
Bob Davidson, our home plate umpire. He's been around a long time. First base, John Tumpain. Bill Welke. At second base, James Hoy, we saw earlier, is our third base umpire.
Lockton Bob Davidson. He was around when I was pitching.
Runners will be moving. 3-2 is a swing and a miss. Lackey gets Liriano. Strikeout number 3. 4 zeros on the board for one of the new Cardinals. League champions lead the Padres 2-0, bottom of the fourth inning. Adams, Peralta, and Ellis. And in case you've missed it, there's some news today out of Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred was named the new commissioner of baseball today. So congratulations to Bill DeWitt's crew that have been meeting for quite some time to find our new commissioner. And we thought it would be good to ask our Al Raboski, who I think should have gotten some votes for commissioner, what he would do had he been named the commissioner of baseball.
Well, you'll find out why I wasn't by what I would do. I would get rid of the DH. It's a much better brand of baseball in the National League. I'd make the strike zone bigger. It's not the strike zone that I pitch to. It used to be the top, at the bottom of the letters. Now it's almost the top of the belt. Call the bigger strike zone. The hitters will adjust to it, and you'll have just as much offense.
Ground ball right side, base hit for Matt Adams. He's 2 for 2.
And maybe the biggest thing, Ricky, and maybe we get into this, is I would raise the mound back up. Now, of course, it was Bob Gibson's 1.12 and the domination of the pitchers back in 1968 that they lowered the mound from 15 inches to 10 inches. But in my way of thinking, lowering the mound has put more stress on the elbow and shoulder, and that is one of the reasons why we're having all the arm surgeries. Of course, back before, they didn't have Tommy John surgery. They didn't have rotator cuff surgeries. You had a tear, you went home, or you found a way to reinvent yourself as a breaking ball pitcher. But I think if you raise the mound back up, it would take a little pressure off the arm and would help out the pitchers.
My first thought is Johnny Peralta is at the plate. He homered, same situation in the second inning to give the Cardinals a 2-0 lead with Adams aboard. Every pitcher that could have voted for you for commissioner just got reinforced by your three ideas. We're all with you, Al, but I'm not sure the hitters would back you. Ground ball right side. This could be a double play. 4-6-3, and this time it's Matt Adams trying to take out a middle infielder unsuccessfully.
But you saw he tried to go after him, and
he did.
Amarista didn't have much on the throw, but it still was good enough to complete the double play. Jerko gets a pass there, and you can see it's not a real good one. Doesn't get him chest high, so that throws off the timing of the young shortstop, and had just enough to get it over the first. Been real impressed with Colton Wong, the way he gives those feeds. And a lot of times that backward toss to a shortstop with a lot of force.
Exactly. Just thinking that. I mean, it's not kind of an easy flip that kind of leads his middle infielder out to dry there. He really does do a nice job in the middle of that Cardinal infield. He's getting the night off tonight. Ellis bounces out onto the fifth. from both of you guys in the post-game show. And we love that view, don't we, Al? Over at Ballpark Village, strike one to Amarista.
I tell all the kids I live at the zoo, and when you're doing a pre and post game, you are. We're there in the zoo.
A little bit. There's a bunt. Uh-oh. This is a problem. You better be quick. And no chance to get Amarista, who bunted that ball perfectly. Sunday, August 17th, salute the career of Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa. 25,000 fans, 16 and older, will receive a one-of-a-kind Tony La Russa statue featuring his Hall of Fame red jacket, courtesy of Apple Vacations. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
I understand the new inductees will all get their new red jacket for the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
It'll be an exciting day on Saturday. Amarista runs well, draws a throw. Padres have 3 hits. Amarista has 2 of them.
Got the first one, the double leading off the 3rd inning. Nelson, remember, had that very lengthy at bat and then finally struck out about 12 pitches, 12 or more. Amarista has 9 steals and 10 attempts.
Took a couple of steps as if he was going to try to steal second, then thought better of it.
I wonder if Lackey kind of, slide step there, and a lot of times that base runner can see it. I still think he would have been safe. We had such a good jump. Big lead, a little shorter this time. Sometimes the shorter for base stealers is when they go.
Not going, swing and a miss, snap throw to first, not in time.
Shorten up the lead a little bit more, maybe.
Two 2-0 Cardinals, top of the 5th inning. John Lockey has been very solid so far. Not going again. There's a ground ball up the middle. Peralta flips to Ellis on the first double play. 6, 4, 3. That's how that's done.
Very nice between the two veterans right there. Peralta gets it back behind. Watch, he flips the ball backwards. And then Ellis, who's one of the top all-time second basemen defensively, so sound fundamentally. Really, because of lack of playing time, we really just haven't seen how good of a fundamental player he really is.
You're talking about his all-time fielding percentage, which is just terrific. And boy, you just can't remember very many mistakes that he's made this year.
And the other day when he was playing first base, got a couple base hits and made a very nice defensive play.
Hard hit to center field by the pitcher Stoltz, but playing shallow is Borges for out number 3. We're halfway through, 2-0. here on Fox Sports Midwest. Then Saturday, it's a national TV game on Fox Sports 1. Sunday, we're back here on Fox Sports Midwest to wrap up the series. The Cardinals Padres this weekend on Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports 1. 2-0 St. Louis. Shane Robinson, Tony Cruz, and the pitcher John Lackey, who's been very solid through 5, allowing just 3 hits to the Padres. And Eric Stoltz has the lowest run support of any pitcher in Major League Baseball, and today is not helping things for him.
No, it really isn't. And I mentioned he's 1-9 on the road, but that one win came his last start against Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh.
1-0 on Shane Robinson, and there's a strike. We mentioned the collision that happened in New Britain, Connecticut, with the top prospect for the Twins. His name is Byron Buxton, one of the top prospects in the game. And the reason I mentioned now Shane Robinson, we had a chance to look at that collision yesterday, and he was knocked unconscious for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's
and an ambulance took him off the field, but it made us think of Shane Robinson because he went through that as a minor leaguer.
A couple years ago with Memphis, suffered facial fractures and was out for quite a while. But that was a gruesome collision between the right fielder and left fielder with the Twins prospect.
And so was Shane's. Been very resilient. And here's Tony Cruz.
I still think you ought to read that speech.
Number 19 on the jersey of Eric Stoltz and other Padres. Of course, honoring Tony Gwynn, and what a loss in the game of baseball.
Really, the two, when you think of the Padres, you really think of two guys. The Colonel, Jerry Coleman, longtime broadcaster with him, Hall of Fame broadcaster, who was not only was a fighter ace in World War II, but also in Korea. Numerous decorations, and he was so beloved by the Padres fans. And then also Tony Gwynn. Went to San Diego State, played with the Padres throughout his career, his Hall of Fame career, and then was the head coach at San Diego State. Lost his life to, I don't know how we call it, but really because of chewing tobacco or dip. And there's a lot of players, they've outlawed smokeless tobacco in the minor leagues, and a lot of people are saying that now they've got the push to outlaw it at the big league level. A lot of players are stopped chewing on their own, or dipping.
Never saw Tony Gwynn, in a bad mood.
No.
All the times we'd interact with him, and even during the game and after the game, you name it.
Always had a smile on his face.
Absolutely. 3-2 up the middle. Nice play by Amarista. Pops up and throws out Tony Cruz. There's a nice play. Wow.
Wouldn't it be always to a guy like Tony Cruz that
needs a hit?
Needs a hit and everything like that, and gets robbed. A tremendous play right here. Tony runs better than most catchers. He's a converted third baseman. But still, that was a nice play right there.
John Lackey. No thoughts about swinging at that first delivery at strike one. He flew out to right, his first plate appearance. And he hits this ball hard to center field, but it's going to carry to Venable. 1-2-3 inning for Stokes. On to the 6th. prizes and a current or former Cardinals player. Tomorrow it'll be Jason Isringhausen. He's going to sign autographs beginning at 5:30. The first 200 people in the Budweiser Bash line next to Gate 5 will be guaranteed an autograph. For information and tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions. Now, you did the Bud Bash one Friday, and I was going to get in line to get your autograph, and I didn't get over there, so I guess you owe me one. That's the way I look at it.
But also, see, I'm not as big a name like you and Izzy. I've never done it, Rick.
Yes, you did.
No, I did.
We announced that you did.
I wasn't there.
Wow. I still want your autograph.
Tell me what Friday I've ever had off.
They must have got some, I don't know who else they got then to fill in for you.
I was never announced to be
Wow.
there. I'd be there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I bet you would. Sign those hungos?
Yeah.
To go along with Fridays. It's always our hungo day. Something to look forward to. Will Venable, top of the order. He fakes a bunt. And it misses low. Actually, it's called a strike. Venable was voted the most valuable player on the Padres a year ago when he hit 22 home runs.
22 home runs, 22 steals.
Last time we saw him, he was sitting down in the order. 7th or 8th. Really struggling, but seems to have turned things around as many of the Padres. They were only averaging 2.9 runs a game in the first half of the season, and it's been 4.5 in the second half. So a dramatic change. The 2-0.
They were no hit by Lincecum last season and then again this year. And at the time of his no-hitter, their collective team batting average was .213. They've raised it up to .225, and in the second half, they are hitting much better.
John Lackey not happy with that pitch either. He thought that may have caught the outside corner. Looking into Bob Davidson, but a leadoff walk to Will Venable. 25-cent chicken McNuggets are at McDonald's now through August 31st, and they're available in 4, 6, 10, or 20 pieces for a limited time only. Second walk for Lackey. Tommy Medica 0 for 2, and it's strike one. Good fastball from Lackey. His fastball has a little bit more of an explosive kind of trajectory today.
And you know what? It's also you can tell he saves it. You know,
yeah.
When he wants to, he can add 3 or 4 miles an hour to it. And most of the time you see that when you get guys on base. To watch Tom Seaver, and you couldn't appreciate it, Tom Seaver, until he had a couple men in scoring position, and then all of a sudden his curveball was so much sharper, his fastball had more life and late life, because they were trying to get guys out, you know, pitching to contact early in the count.
Ground ball past the diving Matt Carpenter and into the left field corner. This is going to be a stand-up double. The runner has to hold at third. And John Lackey has some pitching to do here in the 6th inning as the first 2 batters have reached. A walk and now a double. And the tying run is now at second base for Seth Smith.
And I'm sure it's kind of like the Cardinals and San Diego are both teams that they don't score in a lot of innings. So Cardinals don't add on. You see, totally misses location, won that ball away. It's on the inner part of the plate, so it's easy for him to turn on. Also, because they're pitching him and playing him away, Carpenter was well off the third baseline. So just an error by Lackey in location.
And this creates a very key moment in this game. Cardinals enjoying that 2-run lead, but work for Lackey to do. The infield plays back, just hoping for an out. First pitch to Smith, inside, ball one. The outfield playing him slightly to pull, ever so slightly, and fairly deep.
Smith off of Lackey now 5 for 7 with 2 doubles and a triple. Leads their ball club, or at least their lineup today, with 38 RBIs.
2-0. And that leadoff walk, I think, is the most frustrating part of this inning so far for John Lackey. The splits for Seth Smith since June 15th, hitting .411.
How do you go from 195 to 411?
Make some good adjustment. 386 on base percentage for Smith too, and he's been just a solid player for him. The 2-1 swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Took a little off of that. Haven't seen too many changeups from Lackey. That was actually a slider that looked like a changeup. Didn't break a lot.
It did, you know, but had that little dot. Did you see when the slider is thrown?
The 2-2 in the dirt, 3-2.
Tried to repeat it there. Seth Smith was acquired from Oakland in exchange for former Cardinal farmhand Luke Gregerson. Gregerson has had a nice career with San Diego, and now he's with Oakland.
Originally a Cardinal.
Yeah.
Ball 4.
Another pretty close pitch.
And the bases are loaded. Big conference on the mound. Some nervous moments for the Cardinals leadership, and we'll remind you that Budweiser brings us what's on tap. Ross and Lynn tomorrow 6:30. Coverage begins on Fox Sports Midwest, and Tyson Ross, Cardinals saw him in San Diego, and he is a fantastic young pitcher. 2.63 ERA.
He's an 11-game winner. So with the team sub 500, Tyson Ross has been holding his own.
Jed Jerko hits the Cardinals well, takes strike one. He's lined out and bounced out. If I say he bounced out, it was actually a soft liner that became a ground ball when Johnny Peralta couldn't keep it in his glove and threw him out.
See, one of your favorites who went to West Virginia.
No.
They get any credit?
No, that's anti-credit. The 0-1 is a strike on the outside corner from Lackey. So the command may be coming back here. 84 pitches.
And the Cardinals double play man is warming up in the bullpen. Hopefully we don't need him this inning. But that's Seth Maness. Boy, he's doing his job again, isn't he?
Sure is. Base is full of Padres. The 0-2. Ground ball right side. Adams knocks it down, goes to second for one, and nobody covering at first base. Not sure they would have gotten anybody anyway, but Lackey didn't cover. Ellis tried to recover and cover, but Adams at least gets an out, and I guess the Cardinals thankful for that.
Well, you know also that runner was right in line with Adams when he fields the ball. So he knocked it down, throws to Peralta, but see, no pitcher, no first baseman, nobody can get back, and good thing he didn't throw it. Ellis came in your pitcher, flashing in your pitcher at the end. So it's a one-run ball game with runners at the corners and just one out.
The only guy to throw it to was Jose Valentin, the first base coach. Only guy in the picture. Yasmani Grandal pulls this one into the seats. He was right on that delivery. So it's now 2-1 St. Louis. Runners at first and third. Cardinals want that double play here. Pinching up the middle towards the bag. Hoping for that ground ball. Popped up. Peralta. Couple of steps backwards. Makes the play. And that's a big pitch in this inning, perhaps.
Absolutely. Get that ball anywhere in the outfield, and it's going to be a tie ball game. But Lackey gives him a pitch. You see this ball just going away, right off the end of the bat. It's a changeup, high changeup, but it was effective as he pulled off the pitch, got it right off the end of the bat, didn't carry it all, and basically pop up in the infield.
So a chance to get out of this for John Lackey with just one run on the board. Facing Reimer Liriano. Ball one. Liriano is 0 for 2. Each team with 4 hits. And remember that Padres bullpen. Don't give up the lead in the 6th inning or later. You're asking for trouble. The 1-0 is a strike at the knees, 1-1.
And without looking, Ricky, I would say their Padres are very good, are better than the Cardinals in one-run games because of that bullpen.
Here's a nice shot of the action. Runners at first and third. 2 outs. A lot of pitches this inning for John Lackey.
90 total. You see at 23 in the 4th, but 21 already here in the 6th. Does have 2 outs, so hopefully he can get out of it with this pitch.
Ground ball left side. Tough play for Carpenter on the move and not in time. Liriano beats it out and we are tied. Infield single. Carpenter did everything he could do. And there's the importance of speed.
Youngster playing in his 5th ball game, drives in his 4th run, and you can see not even close. And Carpenter did do a fine job. Picked that ball up almost right at the 3rd base bag. Had something on his throw, but not enough.
Now Amarista, who's 2 for 2.
Now that looked like it was wide, and the call goes against Amarista. And like he's going, where was that when I needed it?
Lackey has pitched well, but the Padres have battled back.
Something about the inability to pile on or add on after the Cardinals got the 2-0 lead in the 2nd.
Cardinals with just 1 hit in the last 3 innings and no runs. Outfield shallow. Amarista not much power.
Shallow in left and center, not so much in right.
Which is where this ball's headed. It's way up in the air, but it is handled easily by Shane Robinson. Top of the order for the Cardinals when we come back. Time for more offense. News, and we take a look at the remaining schedule for the 5 teams in the Central Division, the strength of schedule, and this is the combined winning percentage of the opponents. So when you look at that, you see that the Cardinals are going to have the easiest schedule going forward, the Cubs the hardest, and the Brewers, who lead the division, harder than all the Reds and Pirates and Cardinals combined. So that could be good news.
Well, and it could be bad news. There's a lot of times playing a club like the Cubs, and right now they got all those young kids. They're going to be fired up to be spoilers. Sometimes it's better to play a club that has something to play for, like one of the other teams, the Pirates or Cincinnati, Milwaukee, who's fighting for the same thing you're fighting for. The Cardinals don't, they play very well heads up against Milwaukee.
Speaking of fired up, how about some runs right here? Matt Carpenter leading it off. Can he set the table? There's a good slider from Eric Stoltz, who has just 3 years of big league experience at the age of 34.
Like I said, he's even been in Japan. Started with the Dodgers.
It's like his confidence is really high right now. He's working quickly. Thought he had a strike there, but Cardinals have not managed much against him the last 3 innings. Deep count for Carpenter. The 3-2 is hit down the right field line, but it's hooking foul. Only Donovan Solano could have kept that ball fair.
Stoltz started in 2002 in the Dodger minor league system. Was there until 2009. Cup of coffee for about 3 or 4 years. Then went to Japan, and Colorado signed him. And there's a start.
We promised you earlier in the game that we'd have an AT&T fan photo, and you can tweet your photos to STL Fan Photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. There's our photo today. Hi, Coach. And that photo brought to you by AT&T.
Rick, I'm not saying Stoltz is this type of pitcher, but we've seen pitchers that, will lose the lead, and then they pitch very well. If their teammates get them back even, then they'll give up the lead once again. I'm not saying that Stoltz is that kind of pitcher, but he is leading the National League in losses.
We're kind of hoping he is tonight.
And he doesn't get, and also he doesn't get the run support. So
short lead for Carpenter. Borges bunts it. Stoltz better hurry, and high throw, but he gets it.
Bang bang play.
Whew. That speed really puts pressure on you, doesn't it?
It really does. And I mean, that's a ball where he bunts it basically right back to the pitcher. And yet, because of that great running speed, it's a close play at first. Stoltz has made 2 errors this year. And a lot of times you think he might throw a ball away like that, rushing the throw for a speedy runner.
Boy, I can just imagine the Twitter universe right now. That as a section of Cardinal fans and baseball fans that don't like bunting, and they're having a field day over the sacrifice bunt there, but it does put Carpenter into scoring position. Some people like the bunt, Al, some people don't. Tomato, tomato.
I think it depends on the scenario, depends on who the hitter is, who's coming up. But I will say one thing, Mike Matheny likes it a lot.
We'll see if it works in this inning. Hard hit to left field, but right at the left fielder Smith, who gets it in quickly, shows off his arm. Trying to double up Carpenter. And wow, did Holliday hit that ball hard. And
Holliday is also the guy that is tied for first in the major leagues in game-winning RBIs. Cardinal fans get down on Holliday and don't think he's clutch, but that stat right there, 16 game-winning RBIs, tied for the major league lead.
Top 5 in the National League and hitting with runners in scoring position, and that one 106 miles an hour off the bat.
I was just like the double plays that Holiday hits in. He hits the ball so hard that if it's right at a fielder, it's almost an automatic double play. But we also, if it's not at a fielder, he powers it through the infield.
Shift is on for Matt Adams.
Matt yesterday picked up his 11th game-winning RBI this year. That's good for 6th place in the National League.
Chance to give the Cardinals the lead here in the 6th. The 1-1. Fouled off. We've noticed, Al, that teams will start to modify the shift on Adams as the series goes on.
And like talking about now how they have the left fielder pretty much straight away instead of really pulling around towards right field. Play him to pull in the outfield, but straight away and left. Play him to pull in the infield, but we find the third baseman is not anywhere near the shortstop area. He's a little bit off the line more than he normally would be, but not playing in shortstop because he's got to get the third base with a runner at second.
A lot going on. But the important battle here is between Matt Adams and Eric Stults.
And I know Jose Oquendo is telling Carpenter to get a bigger lead. That's one thing. Oquendo really tries to get that runner at second base a big lead so he can be very aggressive in bringing the guy around third and scoring. The only guy, the shortstop, is there that you see close to the second base bag. If he's not paying attention and trying to shorten up Carpenter.
Often when you take that lead off of second base, you actually are thinking about guys coming from both directions that could pick you off. But in this case, everybody's to his left.
You see Joe Kelly the other day stole a base.
I did see
stole
that.
Third base and first stolen base.
Right back to Stults.
I think since 1959, something like that for a Red Sox pitcher.
2-2. With 8 gallons or more now until September 19th and receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Tight ball game here through 6. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Padres, 2 runs on 4 hits for St. Louis, and it'll be 8-9-1 for San Diego. And you would presume a pinch hitting possibility here. even though Stoltz has a bat.
Sam Freeman throwing in the Cardinal bullpen, and no one in the Padres.
A little surprised by that?
I am, with such a good bullpen.
Stoltz only has 78 pitches, however, through 6 innings, and maybe that's the reason why.
And of course, we're not sure how their bullpen, how much they've been used the last few days. And I guess, you know, Bud Black's hoping that Nelson gets on, and then it's a bunting situation.
Oh, 0-2 the count to Chris Nelson, who's 0 for 3, bounced into a double play in the 5th. The 0-2 late swing fouled off. First at bat, he really got the pitch count up for Lackey. 12 or 13 pitch at bat. There it is, 13. Pitchers hate that. 98 for Lackey. Breaking pitch low, 1-2.
Looking at the relievers' availability, they should have a good bench. I mean, good bullpen. Nobody, you know, overextended themselves yesterday. And Quackenbush, you know, has pitched two days prior to yesterday, but he didn't exert himself very much. He's been pitching well.
Good pitch from Lackey is a strikeout, and it's strikeout number 4.
Lackey's got a good curveball, and he's got that slider that I think he gets ahead of the count, and he spots that one down and away like that. He gets a lot of guys swinging at it.
Good finishing pitch.
Change up and then fastballs.
I'm going to say that's about 72% strikes he's thrown.
Yeah, but now tell me what it is. Other than 72 plus.
That's right. Don't make it too hard for me. And that, by the way, a very high percentage. You talked about that earlier. Late swing and a foul. 65 to 70% is good in terms of percentage of strikes, but again, it varies on the situation. There are times where you can throw too many, and
well, he's got 3 walks, and with that high strike count, it doesn't really equate to the 3 walks.
Sure doesn't.
And the leadoff walk in the 6th inning really helped or hurt him. Came around to score. They scored 2 runs on just 2 hits because of the leadoff walk.
Probably the last inning for Lackey either way, but he is due up 5th for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 7th. Working 1-2 to the pitcher, who pops it up on the right side. Ellis has it. Tomorrow we can honor the career of Cardinals great Chris Carpenter. 25,000 fans 16 and older will take home a Chris Carpenter bobblehead featuring his 2 World Championship trophies. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. That would be that, not that Carpenter, and not the other Chris Carpenter.
How about 2 bobbleheads in the same series over the weekend? Got Chris Carpenter's and Tony La Russa on Sunday.
One and 0, top of the order, Will Venable. He got things going in the 6th when the Padres picked up their 2 runs, a leadoff walk. He later scored. John Lackey trying to finish strong here in the 7th.
I remember in John's first start against Milwaukee in the National League, He gave up an early run in the first and second, and then 5 shutout innings, and his teammates rewarded him with 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to give him a victory. He's hoping for that again. He wouldn't have to come back from 2-0 though. He'd just come back 2-2.
Two and two. This is game number 120 for the Cardinals this year as we look at their action in the bullpen. 2 left-handers, Choate and Freeman. That means the Cardinals have 43 games left. If you consider a 5-man rotation, you've either got 8 or 9 starts apiece. And Lackey's going to be important to this Cardinal team. The 2-2 is a call, 3rd strike. He gets Venable, and that ends the 7th. Good job, John Lackey. Time to stretch. Summary, 2-2 is our score. Bottom of the 7th inning. Stoltz, the starter for San Diego, has been solid. 6 innings, and he's allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits. John Lackey's been equally as good. 2 runs on 5 hits. Johnny Peralta, the big blow for St. Louis, a 2-run home run, and he leads things off here in the bottom of the 7th against Stoltz. Changeup misses outside, ball 1.
Cardinals only 4 hits and just 1 hit since the 2nd inning.
Late swing by Peralta on the high fastball. The Padres score 3.2 runs per game, last in baseball. The Cardinals batting average is not so bad, 5th in the National League, but they only score 3.7 runs, which puts them 28th in baseball. Nelson has this ground ball and throws out Johnny Peralta. Cardinals just can't seem to bunch their hits together often enough.
No, and then the problem is too, most of the time when they do get hits, they're only singles. So there's times when they got to get 4 hits to get a run. Scored their 2 runs on a 2-run home run by Johnny Peralta.
I don't know if you saw Pat Paris and Andy Benes on the big screen here doing their hit for the post-game show. I invite everybody to make sure you stay for that. But I don't know if you saw that. Andy Benes looked like he was about 4 feet taller than Pat.
I did see that part.
Is he standing on a box or what?
And Andy's just big.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's put together, he's proportioned, and he's twice
I mean, it
Pat
was,
Paris, period.
wow. Pat's busy getting ready. Knows we're talking about him.
He's looking
He's
for his
listening.
hit next to half inning.
It's not your fault, Pat. We're just saying Andy's big. That's all we're saying. Don't take it personally. You're 6 feet tall. I get it.
You know, I was 6'8", and then I started having spine surgeries.
I thought I remember you being bigger.
Yeah, thank you.
Full count on Mark Ellis. Late swing and a foul. Action in the bullpen for San Diego. Dale Thayer is a right-hander, and their lone lefty is Alex Torres. He's usually busy, being the only left-hander in that bullpen. Cardinals need base runners. Out in front a bit there is Mark Ellis.
But I found it when we were in San Diego very interesting that they have one left-hander in the bullpen, Alex Torres, and then he pitched in a blowout game. Like, it was a real lopsided game, and they put him in to pitch. You kind of wondered why they'd waste their just lone left-hander in that type of game.
Torres, you might remember from the San Diego series, is the lone player that we've seen anywhere that wears that new designed hat to protect against line drives. It's an oversized hat. It has some lining in it. I'm not sure what you call it. It looks like a balloon hat to me.
It looks weird. It weighs a little bit more. That makes it very uncomfortable for most pitchers.
High fly ball to center. Venable has it.
Middle of the plate, but down, and produces the pop-up. Kane's got one of the 4 hits for the Cardinals.
That came in the second. There's a line drive to left, but it carries all the way to Smith. So the line drives the Cardinals have hit have come up empty. Stoltz is dealing. On to the 8th. Let's go to Pat Paris. He's in our studio across the street, and he's got a Bommarito sports update. Pat? Thanks, Pat. So Milwaukee wins. Pittsburgh loses. And the Cardinals are tied through 7. Johnny Peralta, our Nissan drive of the game. Cardinals have not had a lot of offense. It all came with that swing.
All that swing. They have 4 hits that followed a Matt Adams base hit for a 2-run home run, tying him for the franchise #1 spot by home runs by a shortstop in a single season, 16, that ties Renteria and also Darryl Spencer back in 1960.
Seth Maness is our Chevy call to the bullpen, and it's strike 1 from Seth, taking over for John Lackey, who had a very nice outing.
Seth really got his sinker working again, and he's tied for first in inducing double plays in the National League. Last year he came up in May and had 16 to top the National League, and this year he's already got 11.
Tommy Medica, Seth Smith, and Jerko. Ground ball right side. Adams takes a step back, gets the hop he prefers, and then flips to Seth Maness covering.
Well, if Seth is like we want him to be and he wants to be, we should see 2 more ground balls.
He was definitely up in the zone more at the beginning of the season now than he is now. And I think that's where those ground balls are coming from. It seems like the sink is better.
He just couldn't get on top of that sinker, and it was producing more line drives and fly balls, and I think his changeup has become much better as the season progressed too.
I agree. He had a good one a year ago. And we have another sellout here at Busch Stadium, the 39th of the season, 45,126.
Cardinals have never played in front of a crowd below 40,000 this season.
There's another ground ball. This one's foul, however. 39 sellouts. Now, we just came from Baltimore. They had a good crowd on day 1, not so good a crowd day 2 and 3, and then Miami, a team that's right around 500, and they really struggle to get a crowd, and it's just nice to be back home and see a full house again.
No doubt.
Broken back ground ball to Peralta. Gobbles it up, throws out Smith. 2 ground ball outs for Maness. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Only 9 hits in this game. And just 1 error.
Talking about Jerko, just 197 average, but hits very well against the Cardinals, and he's 2 for 2 off the set.
In the kitchen there, Jerko pops it in the center. And Peter Borges has it. Good inning from Maness. 8-9-1 for the Cardinals. Time to score. to you by Bud Light Lime. The perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. Padres 2, Cardinals 2. And the new Padres pitcher is the lefty Alex Torres. Our Chevy call to the bullpen. He has good numbers, and as we mentioned, the very first Major League player to wear the protective cap to provide head protection. And he did that, Al, because he was a teammate of Alex Cobb with Tampa Bay a year ago when he got hit with a line drive, got a concussion. And Torres said after that moment and after that game he was in such shock he was looking for some way to get through it, and this protective cap is something he just felt like he needed to go to, and again, the first Major League player to use it.
Well, that's what we always talk about. A pitcher can throw a pitch and mortally wound a batter, but a pitcher also has to deal with the fact the ball's coming off the bat a lot harder than you can throw it, and those line drives coming right at you. So whatever you got to do mentally to overcome it, so be it. He's a natural lefty, but he began throwing right-handed at age 13 as a way to preserve his arm and throw more BP. At 13, why were you throwing BP?
Good question.
But he can throw in the 80s right-handed at a distance, they say, up to 120 feet.
Wow.
He does his long tossing right-handed.
Not a big guy.
No. He's listed at 5'10", 175, and I'm thinking that 5'10" is a bit generous.
Has a lively arm, though. And he's even in the count with Tony Cruz at 2-2. Is this a strike? Missed it by that much.
Did not look like it. Wong is on deck. Of course, the Cardinals only have left-handed pinch hitters. An all left-handed bench for the Cardinals.
Descalzo, Berzinski, Taveras, Wong, and Jay. And of all those guys, the guy that has hit lefties the best is John Jay.
Among left-handed batters, John Jay has the highest average in the National League against left-handed pitching.
421. Better than respectable. Off-speed pitch is low.
Let's see if Tony Cruz, one of John Jay's closest friends, both live in Miami, he can't get on base and make it a little more interesting. Torres is 1-0 this year with a 2.06, pitching his 54th a game.
And a swing and a tip, and Tony Cruz believes that ball may have hit the ground. And he is asking.
And the first base umpire is telling Bob Davidson that Tony is correct, so he'll still stay alive. Nice scoring from Payne.
Does this ball hit the dirt?
He didn't foul it, did it?
Better question is, did he actually tip it or not?
Yeah, I don't think he tipped it. That's probably what Bud Black is saying. I think what he might be also saying is the first base umpire kind of volunteered without being asked.
Well, you got two issues. I mean, if you tip it and it hits the dirt, you're still up there.
But if you
swing
miss
and
it,
miss, you're not.
You're not.
Does he hit it or not?
It looked like he swung and missed.
Boy, hard to tell.
Can't tell on that one, but the ones from center field.
But he's saying it was tipped, that he makes that call right away. Now, whether he's right or not, he's going to not get overturned on that by any other umpire. It's a judgment call because he heard it or thought he did.
Well,
then the question, Al,
did he hear the ball hitting the dirt with no
question.
contact? Tony, good actor. This is the one right here. You might have a better look at it. And
Boy.
he misses it.
Sure
right?
looks like it. Tony sold it well.
Yes, he did.
He said, I'm not going. See if the Cardinals can make that hurt. The 3-2. Up the middle.
Wouldn't you know it?
And a base hit for Tony Cruz. So a break for the Cardinals and a leadoff single for Cruz, and that breaks an 0 for 14. Way to go, Tony.
Can't root any harder for Tony Cruz. Probably the toughest job in baseball, backing up the Iron Man, Yadier Molina, of course, this year with the injury. And by the way, and now Descalso will come up here, where you almost always think Mike Matheny's going to put the bunt play on.
You hate to do it with your catcher, but do you have any temptation to pinch run for Tony Cruz at any time?
I think managers waste their backup catcher more times in a game than they should. You never see the play. And Mike Matheny even told me sometimes it penalized Descalso because Descalso is the emergency catcher. For times he was afraid to put Descalso in to pinch hit or play, where he might lose him. And so not only the backup, but also the emergency catcher.
He's here to bunt here. Descalso in, and he takes that pitch for a ball. And
Ricky, I'll ask you this, but we all understand we wouldn't want to throw to a position player, but we would understand if it due to an injury because you used your backup catcher to pinch hit, and all of a sudden your catcher got hurt. You would understand, and all you have to do is finish that game.
Well, and I do think, Al, and we've talked about it some, as the count now goes to 2-0, that there'll be a time when managers start to have their emergency catcher catch more. Not just be a guy that, hey, we can throw him back there, but give him an opportunity somewhere. Clint Hurdle extended his career doing that. So did Jamie Quirk.
A lot of guys, but they never caught.
But they at least were ready to.
Well, yeah, and I recommend that to a lot of people. To go out there and say, hey, give me a glove. I'm going to prove to you that I can be your emergency catcher. And half of it is just saying you want to, be willing to do it. Descalso was the emergency catcher before he ever knew it. Tony La Russa told us. He didn't tell Daniel.
Got to take this pitch, don't you? 3-0?
I would think so.
Make him throw a strike first. Don't give up the out. He does take it, and it's ball 4. So Descalso walks. Daniel had a walk and an RBI with the bases loaded yesterday in Miami, and he walks here. So the Cardinals threatening.
The pitching coach goes out to talk to him. I think the fact that Daniel Descalso's got quite a bit of playing time recently, and he's done a really good job, has really helped him in his pinch hitting appearances now. He really didn't have a fighting chance for a long time because he was so infrequent when he got a chance to play. But remember, he started 2 games in Baltimore, had 2 hits in one game and 3 hits in the other game.
Really good at bats too.
Yeah.
So now do you bunt with Matt Carpenter? 2 runners on, nobody out, bottom of the 8th.
There's his scoring position, 295, 35 of his 43 RBIs. And now they are going to pinch run for Colton Wong, the Cardinals' leader, base stealing leader. And they are down to, Brzezinski will have to go in to catch. It'll be interesting to see if they keep Descalso in the game as the emergency.
I bet you have to.
I don't think you have to, but I know Mike Matheny is so worried about that.
You better have another emergency catcher then.
We'll see.
Yes, we will. Carpenter at the plate. Will he bunt? If he does, it'll be to third base. Not bunting. And it's ball 1.
Matt Carpenter has such a good batting eye, and it really works to his advantage in a situation like this.
He's also a guy that's only hit into 1 double play this year. And it's not his typical thing.
Hangs in well against left-handed pitching.
The 1-0. Taken for a strike.
Not afraid to hit a couple strikes down. So,
and maybe not afraid to bunt a strike down. Maybe taking a strike first.
Possibly. I see Chris Nelson really looking at eyeing Oquendo and wondering what all those signs he's flashing, what do they mean? I'd just soon let him hit away. Let them.
The 1-1 to Carpenter is a base hit to left field. Here comes Colton Long. He's being held up. Good strong throw in from Seth Smith, who is playing very, very shallow left field. So Matt Carpenter comes through with a base hit to load the bases with nobody out.
You know, Oquendo is aggressive as can be, but because Seth Smith was playing shallow, and here's what you like about Carpenter, that front shoulder, you hold it in, so he's always has that ability to go to the opposite field. With the bunt play possibly being on, they left a big hole on the left side of the infield, and he exposed it.
So that's going to be it for Torres. Will we see John Jay here? Or perhaps Taveras with the bases loaded? Cardinals threatening. And our Chevy call to the bullpen is Nick Vincent, the right-hander.
Nick Vincent, you see his numbers. He's you read right now, you need a strikeout. He has 45 strikeouts in 37 and a third innings. His 4.11 ERA or 4.10 ERA doesn't really compute because he's only allowed 28 hits, but he's allowed 5 home runs. And Cardinals, they don't need a home run right now, but they need a run. And John Jay will pinch hit. He'll replace Borges.
Mike Matheny using most of his pieces off the bench in this inning. He's already used Descalzo. Colton Long has been a pinch runner. It means that A.J. Pierzynski will have to come in to catch. That's 3 of his 5 bench players, and now it's pinch hitter John Jay. So he is going for it. And you can't blame him here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Infield in for San Diego. With John Jay at the plate. 2-2. Vincent. First pitch. Hit hard to center field. It's deep. Back goes the center fielder. He's not going to get it. It's up against the wall. 1 run scores. Wong waving him behind him. Another scores. And it's 4-2 St. Louis.
How about John Jay? Has he earned the playing time he receives most time, the center fielder. What a remarkable season he's had after he was kind of the odd man out this winter. And yet Peter Bourjos didn't really claim the position. John Jay worked hard. He's a good teammate, tried to help Bourjos as much as he could, but he has hit his way into the starting rotation or starting lineup just about every night. With that hit, his average goes up to 298.
Swinging at that first pitch, Al.
Well, why not? If you get a pitch you can drive, and he drives this one right down the middle of the plate, and now Matt Holliday can add to it.
Pops it up, however, on the right side, slams his bat into the ground, and Jerko retires Holliday for out number 1. Very frustrated Matt Holliday, who's going to have to get another gamer. Now will they walk Matt Adams with first base open?
They will.
And they'll do that to load the bases for Johnny Peralta, who's already homered in this game. John Jay and the Cardinals coming up big here in the 8th inning. Action in the Cardinals bullpen.
Trevor Rosenthal would be ready to pick up his, I believe, what, 35th save, 36.
He has 35, second in the league in that department. Sam Freeman still throwing with him.
They're hoping they get a big enough lead. It's a non-save situation.
So the walk to Adams brings in Peralta. Johnny having a good night. He's also our BJC difference maker. Last 3 months, his average has been on the rise, including his on-base percentage along with it. 326 in the month of August. The power came early, but the hits are coming later.
Yeah, hopefully that'll continue. 10 of his 16 home runs came on the road. Most of those were early.
Chance to break it open here. Slider misses ball 1. Again, we should mention a terrific Padre bullpen.
They are, and you wouldn't know it quite by this inning.
The 1-0. Fouled back. In fact, since 1974, only the New York Yankees in 1981 with a lower bullpen ERA than what the Padres have right now.
And it's quite a testament to those guys in the pen, because they lost their closer, Houston Street, to a trade around the deadline, and yet they haven't missed a beat out there.
Carpenter, Jay, Adams, the runners. 2-1. Three and one. Cardinals would take a walk with the bases loaded.
No doubt. Any way to cross that plate, add to the lead.
Big gap in left center for Peralta. The 3-1. Just barely a strike on the outside corner. Not by much. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Peralta. He says he fouled that one off. We've already tried that trick. Didn't work this time. There's the bullpen numbers we were talking about. The 81 Yankees at 2.26. Padres before this game at 2.29. Mariners also pitching very well.
Yeah.
And boy, those 88 Dodgers.
Were you on that one?
I was on that team for a while, but I did not influence that number positively. But there are a lot of other guys who did. I didn't know that, actually.
You got an opportunity to try.
I did. Swing and a foul back by Ellis. So the opportunity is not over for the Cardinals to tack on here in the 8th inning.
John Lackey, his first National League win, which happened to be his 150th of his career. He talked about the team came from behind, down by 2, and got 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to win it for him. And he's in line for this victory if the Cardinal bullpen can hold it.
Vincent hits that corner again, 0-2.
Came up with San Diego in 2012, and last 2 years out of the bullpen he's pitched very well. 2012 he had a 1.71 ERA. Last year 2.14.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Ellis, so he minimizes the damage. And who provided that damage? John Jay. This swing of the bat, long double to center field, scored 2. Wong waving him home. Cardinals 4, Padres 2 onto the 9th. Thanks, Pat. We are off to the 9th, and it's Grandal, Liriano, and Amarista. Changes for the Cardinals. The hero of the moment, John Jay, in center. Trevor Rosenthal. Our Chevy call to the bullpen, looking for save number 36.
Some people might have thought he was qualified for a save yesterday, but he was not eligible because he didn't fit the requirement. Yes, he pitched in the 9th inning with a 3-run lead, but you have to throw a complete inning with a 3-run lead if you're not facing the tying or winning run at the plate or on deck circle. So he finished it out, and A.J. Pierzynski will get a chance to help him through the 9th inning here and pick up that 36th save.
Colton Wong, the other change. He stays in the game to play second base. There's a look at Colton.
I would also allow Mike Matheny, hopefully not needed, but to put Rosenthal's spot in Ellis's spot.
And we won't try to figure out who the emergency catcher is.
You won't need one.
We don't really want to go there. 2-2 the count to Yasmani Grandal. And the pitch, a little bit low with the changeup at 88. Not many people on the planet throw a changeup that hard.
No. Grandal has never faced Rosenthal.
He has now base hit to center, and that's how the top of the ninth starts. His first hit of the night. Lined it back through the box. And the Padres not giving up that easily. Reimer Liriano is 1 for 3. Had an RBI single in the 6th inning when the Padres scored their 2 runs. Fly ball right field, well hit. Back goes Robinson to the track, and he makes the play. That was a long, loud out.
It was a long, high, towering fly ball. I'm sure anybody would have gotten back there, but it's good to see Robinson, who is a very good defensive player, made a very fine play up against that wall earlier in the game. He has one of the better throwing arms of Cardinal outfielders too.
I still believe a very big difference in the way the ball's carrying here in this series than it did last time the Cardinals were home. Another base hit, this one by Amarista, his 3rd hit of the night. And now the Padres have the tying run at first base here in the 9th. All smiles is Amarista. But so is John Lackey, who also pitched well. He's our Budweiser player of the game. Not in line for the win, but he did pitch well. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts for Lackey.
When you go 7 innings, you know, you're doing your job. Helps out the bullpen. Seth Maness was outstanding. The Vulture, he's in line for this victory if Rosenthal close it out.
That's what you called him a year ago, didn't you?
Yeah. Comes in, swoops in, and snatches up the victory, but he earns them.
Fastball low.
Nelson, a pair of strikeouts sandwiched around a double play ball. We'll take another one of those right now.
Well, I also must say you'd have liked for the Cardinals to get more runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. They had their chance. Change up 2-0. Cardinals had the bases loaded with 1 out. They'd already scored 2, and they could not score more. Late swing, watch out. Don't try to catch that, please.
I've been forced to.
Might be right. Two and 1 to count to Chris Nelson. 2 runners aboard, 1 out in the 9th. Swing and a miss. He threw it by him. Strikeout would be nice. Double play would be better. Rosenthal trying to close it out. The 2-2 misses. 3-2.
Rosenthal's gotten better as the season's gone along, but still too many walks.
And too many pitches.
Yeah, a lot of pitches thrown, a lot of deep counts.
Crowd urging him on. The 3-2. We'll do it again. That pitch at 99.
.55 innings. He's allowed 28 walks and struck out 71.
How about number 72 here? The 3-2 is high, ball 4. He misses with a changeup to Chris Nelson to load the bases.
You know, sometimes you've got so many good pitches, you get a little tricky, and you trick yourself trying to throw that changeup. I know he's gotten a lot of outs with it, but old story, don't get beat with something other than your best pitch. But you know how that is, Ricky. If you go out there and throw a ton of pitches and then you get beat on your fastball, they say you can't throw a fastball. You get beat on your changeup, they say, oh, you dummy, you got beat on your second best pitch. Look at the difference in their pinch hitters, particularly, you know, in 200 at bats, they've had 46 pinch hits, 7 home runs, Cardinals none, and 24 RBIs, the Cardinals 11.
This is Jake Gobert, who hits from the left side. Key situation for him. Line drive, base hit to right field. 1 run will score. Robinson comes up throwing. Play at the plate. He is. He called him out the first time. He called him out the first time, and then Pierzynski dove on him again, and there's going to be an argument over this one.
Amarista is going all over. He's jumping up and down. He's the lead runner, and this obviously they'll review this. Pierzynski confused Bob Davidson when he went back to re-tag him. He called him out initially, but it was going to be reviewed either way.
Well, it puts Pierzynski in a bad spot because you call him out, but if it's reviewed and it's overturned, you do have to go back and tag him again, just in case. Now Mike Matheny is studying the scorecard because that's going to create a whole new agenda for him with a light bench. And what do you do with your closer? There's the throw. Does he tag him or not? Davidson says yes. Amarista dives in. Pierzynski dives on him again. Everybody's saying, no, he didn't tag me. Let's look. Boy, hard to tell.
And well, from that look, you see Davidson's getting ready to ring him up, but then when Pierzynski went back after him is when he all of a sudden kind of thought about it.
Well, the question is, did he tag him in the left arm or not?
Well, he calls him that he did, but you can see that reaction. He goes, why is he going after him? I called him out.
But he did call him out first, so he had to stick with his call, and they're going to New York for this, and this is a huge moment in this game.
We have a tie game or not? Oh. Might have got him on that arm, but it sure didn't look like it.
Boy. You certainly wouldn't say, I know he tagged him.
Right.
But the question is, can you say you know he didn't?
Yeah, is there enough to overturn it? And we've seen, unless it's not definitive, you know, they don't overturn them.
If he's safe, it's a tie game. If he's out, there's still more work to do.
Yeah, 2 outs in a 1-run game with 2 men on.
Wow, is this a huge call for the Cardinals? And this may take a while.
Well, because this one you shouldn't worry about the clock.
No. This is a game on the line. You win or lose based on what they're telling him in New York right now, perhaps. Again, the call on the field was he was out. A scramble at the plate. He was definitely safe the second time. But did he tag him on that arm or not?
You wonder right there, you see Bob Davidson, the crew chief and home plate umpire, talking to the other end, And you wonder if they say, okay, what did you see? How did you feel? Why did you make the call?
Yeah, I've wondered about that. Normally they just listen.
Yeah, it's almost like everything is decided in New York and they just come back and give you the result. But it seemed like a conversation there. Bill Welke, the other umpire, second most senior umpire.
And there is a lot of feedback going on right now with Bob Davidson. And the umpires, by the way, don't have a glove to cover their mouth, so they have to put their hand over their mouth. You know, like the players do. Not a simple call at all. But profoundly important to the outcome of this game.
The Cardinals got a break earlier when it appeared that Tony Cruz struck out, and they ruled it a foul tip. And then Tony got a base hit after that.
And it looks like they may have their verdict. And what is it?
Out.
He's out. How about that?
And boy, Bud Black is livid.
You know, I'm not sure I blame him.
No, I don't either. Once you come back to question the call, you're automatically thrown out. But you can't blame him. And this is Mike Matheny will have empathy for Bud Black. And he said, I want to yell at the guy on the other end of the headset. I don't want to yell at you guys because he's made the call now.
Bud Black cannot believe it.
He's had 2 strikes against him in this game.
So not enough to overturn that he may have tagged him on that arm. Boy.
And watch Amarista. He's the runner. And afterwards, he is emphatic that he was not tagged. Look at Brzezinski. He's not sure. It's because he races back to tagging.
What a break for the Cardinals, but
Still
it's not
work to
over
done,
yet.
yeah.
Will Venable at the plate. And for the first time, I've noticed that Chris Nelson is just at second base.
Yes. Kind of wonder why he's just there. With all that going on, why was he not at third?
On a base hit to right field.
With the throw at the plate, with all the discussion there, the dive back, you know, that would have been the winning run. Now it's the tying run at second base. He should be at third.
That's a big miss. Now we got a chance for another fun play at the plate, perhaps. 2-0, now 3-0.
I did say that Robinson had the strongest arm of the Cardinal outfielders, and he showed it.
And it's a good thing. Yeah, lost in all that was the good throw from Shane. And he walked it. We've been talking about the play at the plate. Let's talk a little bit about the throw from Shane Robinson, who charges this ball out and lets it go.
Yeah, you see right there, he knows he's got to airmail it. He gets it up there. Brzezinski gets that nice hop. It's up the line a little bit, but he still had enough time to, what we think was apply a tag. But now the base is loaded. Tying run at third, the winning run at second, or the go-ahead run. Neshek is in the Cardinal bullpen. You want to bring him. I know you got one of the top closers in the game, but you can also say it's really not his night with 2 hits and 3 hits and a walk. 2 walks, 3 hits and 2 walks.
Boy, I'd be tempted.
Neshek has been so good. But this batter is either going to be they're going to either be tied, ahead, or game over.
Strike 1. No more margin for error for Trevor Rosenthal.
Medica has never faced Trevor, and in my mind that advantage always goes to the pitcher.
Nice play by Pierzynski. Wow.
What a pick.
That was just reflexes
Yeah.
there. Woo. Could have easily gone back to the screen.
See, in the dirt right there, well wide, and just put down the glove instinctively and picked it. He led the American League catchers in fielding percentage last year with A.J. Pierzynski.
1-1 the count. Bases loaded. Swing and a foul back. 1-2. At 99. A 4-minute and 9-second review has set up this moment.
And you know, that seemed like it was about a minute to review. Here it is. Trying to get your 36th save when you're struggling, but in one pitch, you can pick it up.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Medica. Rosenthal closes it out somehow. And John Jay is still the hero of a 4-3 Cardinal victory.
Yeah, it was exciting. There's a lot of things that go on there, but Lackey pitched well. Manus was outstanding, and Rosenthal did it when he had to pick up the Cardinal victory, 4-3. Everybody can relax now.
Cardinals get some breaks, but Rosenthal earns this one. Striking out Medica. Postgame coming up next.